Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 299 of the Old Drop Frames. 300 is next week. I got that wrong last week. Apparently, that's your microphone, Zeke. That's you talking to that. That's what that is.
What is this contraption that is in front of me?
Yeah, no, that's microphone. That's where that goes.
Can you crop that out?
I can. Yeah, I can do a little croppage right there. Anyways, as I was saying,
yeah,
the TGA restream doesn't go up on iTunes. So technically, this is $299. Next week's $300. The restreams that we do don't count as iTunes podcast. Thus, they're not numbered episodes.
Okay.
At least that's what Reggie tells me, and he runs the show around here. So, yeah, that's just.
So you're letting other people decide what counts now.
I just show up to this shit, Zeke. I don't.
No, I deal with that shit quite a bit. Like I have like certain like traditions and unwritten rules that like if I miss a indie day, I'll make up for it. With an indie week eventually if I miss 4 of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And people keep me on that shit, and I just want to tell them, like I don't have to do anything for you assholes. Like I don't owe you jack shit. So stop bugging me about this. Like, nice. Sure, I was like, yeah, I owe you. Okay, sure. And it was like a nod and a wink. But people get like upset. They're like, you said that this was episode 300, and it is not.
I'm kind of on their side. If you say something, it should, like, you shouldn't say something unless it's true on the internet. You know what I'm saying? 100%. I know that seems big if true, right? But
100%.
If you say something,
everybody lies.
You gotta stick to it. Yeah. Anyways, we'll do 300 next week. Also, I found out, I guess we got to wait for, Jericho is going to be on the show today, and I'm going to call him out. He said he can't come because of football. So.
What's that?
Hey, listen, I played football last night. Crazy. I scored 1,000 yards rushing, and I'm here today.
Great.
Is he still playing? Does he still play the football?
Oh,
he's still on the Is he still on the Cowboys? He's on the Cowboys, right? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I had a couple of good ones last night. Couple of good missed tags last night that I was able to respond to.
Nice. But wait a minute. Hold on. The Super Bowl's soon, isn't it? So football season's over. When does the Super Bowl happen? That's in February.
Right? February already?
Yeah. What was that? Oh. Yeah, I think it's February now. Yeah. I guess that'll happen. So he's back into the show from February to what? Like July, I guess, or August? Is that when? I don't know anything about football. We're grasping at straws here. Jericho, shame on you. You should have come hang out with your friends. That's all I'm saying.
I'll be sad. It was nice to have like every once in a while, like Monday, Sunday, Thursday. I would get some fun stuff to respond to, and it's kind of funny how many people like reply to those and go, I don't really care about football, but I kind of do now because you do those tweets like, man, I hope the Cowboys are playing today.
Were you retweeting the ones that like were yelling at you or no?
Did you just leave them alone? Absolutely.
Oh, you were? Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. No, I retweet those ones. A lot of times they'll like last night, I hit the tweet button and the dude immediately deleted the tweet. But thankfully I still had it pulled up. So I kept the receipts and it showed the picture.
That's
what I was responding to. So it made sense,
Yeah.
Or else I'm responding to this tweet was deleted and that's no fun.
Yeah, it's no fun at all. Anyways, video games, they're on hold right now, guys. I don't know if you know this, but watching TV shows is all the rage on this platform. It's the number one thing to do. It's what everyone's doing, unless you got banned for it, and then you're taking a 48-hour break and coming back and being celebrated for it.
You want to know a funny story that is actually related to this?
Yeah.
All the way back. Take yourself back about 11 years.
Is this Macho Man's like
just
time traveler?
Phenomenal old man telling you a story.
Okay, Macho Man the time traveler.
No. Macho Man would be like this. He'd tell you a story. But anyways, take yourself back all the way to the days of Justin.tv. And my idea, because gaming was a big part of Justin TV, but it wasn't close to being all of it, right?
Sure.
Justin TV was broadcasting all kinds of different shit. Gaming was just one section of it. And one of those, like a lot of those sections were pirated, like episodes of whatever, South Park, Trailer Park Boys, like football, soccer matches, football matches. People would just broadcast those on Justin TV because it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
And so, and they would do like weird stuff to avoid like getting dinged by like they just
they flip
mirror the image and whatever.
That still works today.
Does it? Wow.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah.
But my idea when I started streaming was I wasn't going to do gaming. I was going to do I don't know if you might know this. I might have told this story, but my channel or my show that I was making was originally titled Flick You. And it was me just basically copying Mystery Science Theater and watching bad movies and commenting on them and making fun of them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I did that for a little bit. And I not only did that, but I also like, I decided like bad movies are not fun like every time. So I would swap between good and bad stuff. And then eventually I started like sharing like niche stuff that I liked. And one of those things was an animated series on MTV called The Max. I really enjoyed that show, and I was sharing it, watching it with my minuscule audience back then, and I got dinged by I think it was Viacom. I think owns MTV, but I'm not sure.
That sounds right. Yeah,
but they perma-banned me. Like it was done. Like you were broadcasting, like they should have done it many episodes ago, like many different shows ago, because I broadcasted very much copywritten movies and shit.
Not to interrupt your story real quick, but just out of curiosity, did you receive any DMCA takedowns like officially, or did they just like did Twitch message you and say you're gone?
No, it was Justin TV, but no message, no message,
no DMCAs or anything,
no
just
warning.
Like, you're gone.
They in the middle of my stream. It was a hot takedown. Just like, I was like, wait, what happened? I was in the middle of watching it. I was like, what happened? Hello? And then I went back to my account and they were like, your account has been banned, all this type of shit. And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. And I was like, oh, no. This is awful. This is terrible. It was shortly before, and I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but it was shortly before Twitch became a thing.
So it would have been like what, 2013? I guess. What?
20? Yeah.
I started on Twitch in April 2013, so probably the year before.
2012.
Yeah.
Okay.
2012. Yeah. So about 10 years.
Whatever E3 that was, I forget what it was.
I got banned from Justin TV, and then Twitch happened however many months later.
Yeah. And
I was like, hey, it's me. Can a guy? I had begged and pleaded. Like I sent like 4 or 5 emails to as many people as I could possibly get, and I was like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I fucked up. I won't do it again. I'll never do it again. I promise. Can I have my account and name back? And it took a good long while, but eventually, like I got it all back. But they did not give me a warning. They didn't give me shit. But that was the way it was back then. It was like you got your channel banned, and then you made your channel again with a number, with the next consecutive number. You just made a new account.
Yeah. That's honestly the first time I've ever heard of an account being banned by Twitch that wasn't a reaction of a DMCA claim.
Well, the only thing we have to take into consideration is this was a long time ago.
It was,
as somebody pointed out in my chat, there's a chance that maybe they were getting the claims, but just didn't have the infrastructure to move them on to all the channels that were actually receiving them.
You're probably right.
Maybe the reason he got banned is he got the claims and they just didn't tell him. They were just like, you're gone.
You're probably right.
Oh yeah, Justin TV barely had any infrastructure, as far as I was aware.
Yeah,
they barely had they were like,
at that point.
This is the team of lawyers from Viacom, and one of your people is fucking up. And they're like, oh, no problem.
Yeah, they probably just removed them. Yeah,
because no, I mean, I wasn't making Justin TV any money. So I'm sure they didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, that same thing. Turns out you walked so that the other streamers today could fly. Because that's where they're streaming from with all their money while watching the Master Chefs, or not anymore, I guess. What's the new rage? I guess anime of some sort is the new rage now. I think that's maybe the craziest thing. We should probably go back and actually tell the timeline of it. But for people to get like takedowns for both, Pokey getting a live takedown, so our channel was banned for 48 hours. Hasan getting one that when he wasn't live, so he didn't get banned, but he did get a DMCA strike on his channel. For the response to be like, well, let's just try some anime is like that. I don't understand that thought process. If there was one at all there, apart from like, well, I got to find something to stream, or we're going to push the envelope. But
well, yeah, to be there's a couple. There's only a few streamers that are pushing that right now. Thankfully,
right.
It's not like every streamer who was streaming MasterChef is now doing all this stuff, and they're doing it for different reasons. But for instance, like I'm still trying to drill down to the root of the perspective as well. But I know, for instance, that Disguised Toast, who was the person I referenced in a tweet that I put out over the weekend, basically Pokey got banned, and the first thing Toast did was, okay, let me try Death Note. And it's like, and he apparently has like something going on with where he feels like he's on this mission where either I think he's trying to either get Twitch to do something or like it's changed over time from the little snips I've seen. Because I haven't been, haven't been paying too much attention to it. But at one point, like I saw somebody linked me his title at one point. He was going to stream the new Spider-Man movie. I don't think he actually did that.
Multiple times actually. Already.
I hope he didn't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point is that like, and this is something that's come up a lot over the last few days. It really depends on the streamer's perspective on their situation. Like, I feel like there's a lot of streamers that really fundamentally appreciate how good this job is and how amazing it is and how, there's really no point in taking huge risks. And there's other streamers, especially younger ones, it seems, who, some of them have been doing this their whole life. They've never done like 50-hour work weeks at dead end jobs. It's the kind of thing where it's like, they're just messing around. They already got their millions and it's kind of a game and the whole thing's a game for content and views. And it's like, there's all these different perspectives that are going into the mix that really kind of adds up to a cacophony of misunderstanding among the streaming community, where it's just like, why are these people doing this? Well, because it's a game to them. They don't care. They already have their bag. Like if they screw up, whatever. And when they do that, a lot of times their fans just rabidly cheer them on doing it, and they love the attention. So it's just like, there's reasons they're doing it outside of pure stupidity, which is the reason that because to most people it's like, wow, this could make you lose streaming. There is a slight chance, because we're all dealing with forces we don't understand, that this could sink the platform. Think Viacom and YouTube back in the day. Except like some people have very well pointed out, like with the Viacom YouTube thing, YouTube's big defense was, well, we can't verify anything. Well, I mean, these days you have the official Twitch platform literally making jokes with Gordon. It's very clear that they know that the content on Twitch is not okay to be there. They keep doing it and profiting off it. So it's a very different situation that could be a lot worse, or not at all. Maybe nothing will happen. Like, I have to admit, when Hasan posted his DMCA takedown thing for MasterChef, the first thing I thought was, good. But not because he got DMCA'd. I thought good because there's no lawsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, he got one DMC takedown for the hundreds of thousands of hours that he broadcasted for. Apparently, he's the only streamer that's gotten it, that's been public about it. Like, talk about a best case scenario to that meta ending. I mean, that could have been horrible. It could have been horrible.
Yeah. Well,
so, I mean
it could still be, right? Like, that's the bigger fear, is they could get dragged to court once whoever has done all the research and figured out how much they actually want to take them to court for. But I highly doubt that's going to happen, but it could very well happen.
I really hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like that would just be, it would be, a lot of people are world burn perspective on this. They want to see the world burn. They want to see the people flagrantly, spitting in the face of what they're able to do, get taken down. But at the same time, it's like, you have to remember, these guys are going up against like faceless media corporations. Like, you really want to be cheering them on? Like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's good to see people that are doing the wrong thing everyone likes justice, right? Everyone likes justice, and that's fun to watch. But at the same time, it's like if these big streamers get taken down, if there's a big lawsuit, like everyone on Twitch is going to get affected. Not just the top echelon either. Like a lot of times those giant streamers come on, they bring in their tens, hundreds of thousands of viewers, and then they get off and thousands of those viewers go find more mid-tier streamers and smaller streamers. Some even go stream themselves. And it's like this whole ecosystem that spreads out like roots on a tree. And all of that's going to get affected if the top gets burnt. All of it. So it's not just like, oh, they'll get removed from the platform, whatever. Hasan gets banned off this platform. He gets what, averages about 40,000 viewers. Tens of thousands of those viewers are just going to leave the platform. Viewers that would normally be in other streams doing other things, maybe streaming themselves, they're just going to leave the platform. Every major streamer that gets knocked off would dramatically affect the platform as a whole in a negative way. So
I think we need to put the blame where it belongs on the people, on you out there, you watching it. You're the ones who are doing this. You're the ones who keep watching this. Stop watching that stuff, dummies. Watch only things that you get legally. What's wrong with you? I'm so
I think
upset.
at the end of the day, that's true. It's chat's fault. It's Twitter's fault. It's live streams fails fault. And really at the end of the day, the streamers are perfect. I mean, think how many people watch them. Obviously, they're pillars of the community.
That is true.
So there's really the fact that people are even suggesting that they're at fault is frankly a travesty.
Yeah, I agree.
And I hope just that last 10 seconds gets clipped. What are these morons talking about? This is insane. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
No, it really strikes me as like the rich people in town who get all the speeding tickets because they like, oh fuck it, whatever. Like I'll drive whatever speed I want. What are you gonna give me another ticket? Go ahead, give me another ticket. You gonna take my license away? Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the thing. I'm gonna take your analogy a step further though.
okay,
Those rich people, they speed through the town, right? They're speeding through
Right.
the town. They're doing it all the time. They're just paying off their tickets, whatever. Then all of a sudden, their speed cams up and speed bumps because of those people. And now everyone's affected by what they did.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I think most people are worried about. Like where the
but
top
isn't that
just has their fun.
a safer street to drive on? Like,
Oh, shut up. Zeke.
Isn't this
Ugh.
I think the biggest fear is that it's going to become what YouTube is, where you can get a bunch of like bad actors with random claims on random shit, and then we have to all deal with that rather than just like don't stream
right.
DMCA, which definitely is a real fear. And I would be surprised if there's not already some sort of system like that being built. If I'm Twitch,
or simply Twitch is going to get a live content system, like YouTube has, where it's like all of our streams are constantly going to be getting monitored.
Yeah.
And the second anything suspicious pops up, our stream just gets popped down, and we get a little email, and it's like, "Are you sure you want to be streaming this?" And it's like, that would itself be just such a huge disruption, not only for the streamers but the viewers. Like there's all sorts of things that and I think this is again the biggest issue with this whole thing. There's so many unknowns.
Yeah.
There's so many unknowns. There's so many people that are assuming the worst. There's people that are assuming the worst will never happen, which is just as dangerous. And it's like, and nobody fully understands DMCA. Nobody fully understands Twitch's position.
It's complicated.
And if they're liable and if they're not liable, and like everyone's throwing around stuff, and it's so messy. And the worst part is the only people that actually know this stuff, the people that know the concrete information, have to stay silent about it.
Yeah.
Like Twitch can't come out and be like, well, here's exactly what we're liable
They can't.
for, and here's they can't do that
It sets
because then
precedent.
that like it becomes even messier. So yeah, it's I'm hoping this blows by quick because it's been kind of nightmarish keeping up with.
I will say it's some of the things that are because I've been like pretty whatever on Twitter about it. I guess fine is a word I would use. But one of the things that is a little bit upsetting is when you go and watch some of these like giant streams that are just restreaming TV, anime, whatever, is the Twitch staff that are just like chatting and like having a good time. Like literal account manager of said streamer in chat, just like watching the content, hanging out and being a bro. And it's like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
It's like those videos like after a big sports ball win in like Philadelphia, and you see the cops like fucking partying with all the like fucking rioting on the street, and you're like, what are you doing, man? You're a cop. You're not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
I would hate to see their face at like the big approaching potential lawsuit where they're like, here's the chat log from one of your employees on the day
Yeah.
this happened. Meanwhile, they're just sitting in there like,
Yeah. It's wild to me. Like that is less of a thought process than streaming the DMCA content to me. Like, I don't understand how you can do that and be like, oh no, this is fine. Like it's fine. This is a good look.
Well,
It's really ridiculous.
if you want to
see
be
that.
there and participate, man, we know everybody, like, maybe not everybody, but I would say a good majority of people who have a Twitch account have a trash account. Just use that one. One without the fucking, employee badge on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just, from my eyes, it's not a good look. And I would hope that, like, somewhere in the chain, knowing what I do about Twitch internally, somewhere in that chain of command, someone would be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have staff watching this shit. Maybe that's a bad look. I don't know. But apparently it hasn't. So, because it happens like nonstop. That's probably one of the bigger issues that I've seen with this stuff, where it's just like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck's going on?
So in terms of like the rest of this discussion, I mentioned a little bit about this before the show. I think most of this has been talked to the ground.
Yeah.
And we've pretty much covered everything. One last thing I do want to kind of chat with you guys about, and it's not directly related to this, but something that's been coming up a lot lately that I think is interesting is that a lot of the people, especially those that are trying to reduce the overall kind of effect that this DMCA stuff is having, is they say over and over, yes, they're streaming big shows, but how is that different from you streaming your games? And I see that over and over. Games are also DMCA content. Like, that also happens. And for the record, it absolutely has happened. I saw somebody say on Twitter, like, games have never been DMCA'd. Remember Atlas? Remember the big Atlas thing where they literally said, like, we are going to take your streams down? Think pre-embargo. That happens all the time. Someone streams a game pre-embargo, boom, they get their stuff taken down. So
Nintendo?
I think that's yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They exist.
So the big thing is, though, and the thing that is kind of a little bit weird every time you hear that is, one of them is like designed for being watched like a movie. You don't do anything, right? Like, you just sit back and watch a movie. So if a streamer does that, you're absorbing the content as it's designed to be done. Whereas if you're watching a game, you're not really absorbing that content. You're watching somebody play the game, but you're not playing the game. You're not doing the thing that medium is designed to do. Also, I mean, if you were to add all the times up that like a movie or show has been DMCA'd as opposed to a game, I'm sure we're like talking a fraction of a single percent.
Yeah.
So like, it's really weird, like, to have that happen. It's like talking about two different industries. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you could use that same argument for any piece of art shown on a stream.
Yeah, you can use it for a book.
Like,
as well.
you can literally show it for anything that a streamer doesn't create. If someone else owns the rights to digitally show that, like, so I mean, literally, you're talking about every single frame of every single stream. That's not just a full picture of the streamer.
I do want to interject real quick, Cohh. I was going to say, yeah, you can't read a book on air. And then I looked around as if I was going to find a book in this house.
You can find a manual, right?
And I was like,
or maybe there's a prop on your thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have read excerpts of different taco books, but I haven't actually looked it up. And I do feel a little bit like I'm not reading the entire book on stream. I'm just reading little sections from it.
Sure.
And I wonder if that's like a fair use thing. Like,
no,
it's not. You can't read books unless they're public domain.
Books.
Yeah,
I remember, because what was it? There was the ASMR.
Not even little excerpts. Not even little like.
I don't think so.
There was an ASMR thing where there was like a big thing an ASMR streamer was going to do was they were going to read books. And they talked about on Twitter how they couldn't do that because they asked Twitch, and Twitch was like, no, that's absolutely content that somebody could claim, like if you read the books. But again, here's the thing. I don't want to say that what I'm saying is like, we don't know DMCA law here.
No.
But my point is that everybody who's been saying that is right. Absolutely, games can be DMCA'd, exactly like live shows. But I think it's also an important distinction to make. Like, percentage of that happening is like literally 100 to 1. Like, it's like, it doesn't, unless a dev specifically says, please don't play our game on air, or this is the embargo. Like, I can't think of a single case where I've heard of a game getting DMCA'd outside of the music inside the game. But if that ever changed, I'm sure we would be the first to talk about it. Like, if it ever was a chance where a game dev was just like, you know what? We'd rather you guys buy the game instead of watch it, and we're going to start DMCAing streams. That'd be a huge deal.
Right.
That would be like Twitch as a platform is going to be talking about that kind of stuff. That would be an absolutely huge deal.
And that's why they don't right there.
Yeah.
They don't want to, they want to avoid that controversy and that conversation because it's the industry agreed upon standard is like, oh yeah, you can stream games. That's literally what Twitch is, or at least Twitch started as is a
that would
conversation.
Become, like that would basically be a reimagining of Twitch from a core level.
Yeah.
Where like literally you would log into Twitch each day and you would flip through a catalog and you would have to like buy a license to stream a game from the dev or something. Like that would be like a complete different thing. But yeah, to answer that question on Twitter, it is the same thing, but it's just not the same thing. It's kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
It is.
Wrong.
There is an interesting, I guess, thought experiment for it to be like with all of these people streaming shows, like, is this enough to bend the rules that the TV industries of the world or the TV industry of the world thinks like, this actually like is getting a shit ton of people excited about our new Master Chef show because now they've all watched it on Twitch. So like maybe there is a way to utilize this. I think if there is a silver lining, maybe that's one that it could start to like open the eyes of, the old curmudgeon-y CEOs of the Hollywood and TV world to that. But that's kind of a pipe dream in a lot of ways. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But maybe
that
it does.
Industry is so mired in red tape and like people that just don't care about keeping up with the current times. I mean, they are decades. I mean, they're barely catching up with like electric internet music licensing, let alone like streaming it to a live audience and stuff. It's really unfortunate because there's so many opportunities for them to have like true synergistic relationships with streamers and have it all work and have it benefit everybody involved. But instead we have this like archaic system that they refuse to update. And it just causes problems for everyone, frankly. It causes problems for everyone.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate.
I also think that Twitch as a company has kind of worked on that somewhat. Maybe it's more Amazon with things like this, the Thursday night football restreams that we have. But even that in itself, like the red tape that the streamer has to jump through for that is like, they have to go offline. Twitch has to put their stream into like a safe zone situation.
Yeah.
Then they have to go back online and then they can't talk during commercials. They have to like basically turn their camera off during commercials. All this like really absurd stuff. But I guess that's progress, right? Because the other situation is you just don't stream Thursday night football.
It's a 2-step forward, 1-step back situation. Like it's clear there's a little bit of progress, but it is by no means total progress. It's the same with watch parties.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing we've been seeing come up so often. Why are people watching Master Chef when they can just do watch parties? Well, because watch parties have have their own set of huge issues.
Oh, I'll
like,
say
especially if you're watching something with Prime, like you immediately lose like half your audience.
Watch parties suck. Like me and Jericho did a show for a year with watch parties. That was a waste of time. There was nothing beneficial to come out of that.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not where it needs to be.
Here's
it's not
the thing.
there.
This is the funniest aspect of it, and it's I guess somewhat selfish of me to present it this way. But example is like Wheel of Time. So we did watch party, or we watched things for almost a year. And Wheel of Time came out, and a bunch of other Amazon-owned IP shows launched on Amazon Prime. And the people that they sponsored to watch that had never used watch parties, at least to the amount that we did, let alone knew what Wheel of Time was, let alone were also watching Master Chef and other copyrighted content on their own channels. So like they didn't even seek out people that were actively using the product that should be the like pathway to these type of sponsored streams. And that alone just makes me think that like Amazon doesn't give a fuck about watch parties. There's been no influence on them in the past
Real
year.
talk. I think watch parties were like a lot of the core people at Twitch were trying to get streamers what we had been asking for. I think that's the kind of thing. And they just couldn't push it far enough to get it to a point where it was super usable. We had been asking for things like watch parties for years and years and years.
That's very true.
Unfortunately, our version of watch parties was just playing the thing for our global audience with us in the corner. Like that was
Right.
what we were asking for. And then Twitch tried to get it to us, realized, oh, there's this whole like international licensing law stuff. And oh, you have to be a Prime member. And oh, there's all this. And all of a sudden, it's just got kind of like reduced in scope until it's to the point now where it's like no one uses it.
Yeah. It's very,
I mean, it was a good effort.
Very seldom,
it was a great effort. Like, we appreciate that you tried, but it's like,
well,
wasn't there.
Even the sponsored streams on these Amazon shows don't use watch parties. They just put their stream into like the DMCA safe harbor zone, or the not safe harbor zone, but the DMCA safe zone. And then they just restream like an Amazon video essentially on their channel. And that to me is also like, I understand why, right? There's no restrictions. You have a global audience. With watch parties, it's US only for a lot of the content. Blah, 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 blah.
I'm
blah.
only for a lot.
Yeah. There's a ton of different restrictions for it. So I get
Which
that.
means you're just like cutting your audience in half and then even more so. And
Yeah.
it just gets,
Yeah. So I get all that, but it's that's an interesting conversation. Like that. I don't even think that's a conversation. It's just an interesting little blip of information that the entire time this was popping up, like the product manager, if they're still at Twitch, who created watch parties, is just like laughing or crying, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those like, it's hard.
It's
what we got to do.
It's interesting.
We just got to go on to town hall. We got to talk about DMCA laws. This is what we got to do.
That's true.
Just have a nice little chit chat.
That's true. I do wonder if we'll see like a landmark DMCA case for that shit, but maybe, who knows? I don't know. Hard to say.
In regards to watch parties, it's like, all right, we got a nail here. You're gonna put it into this piece of wood. Here's a hammer. Okay. Grab a fucking book. It's like, we provided you with the tools. What are you doing?
Yeah. So we'll see. I would assume we didn't really do a timeline recap of this, but essentially what happened is a bunch of people are streaming DMCA content. People started to be like, oh shit, Gordon Ramsay's like aware this is happening. He's tweeting about it, blah, 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 blah. And then Pokimane streamed Avatar on, was that Friday or Thursday? Friday or Thursday, I forget which. Got a live DMCA takedown, got banned for 48 hours. I think it was Friday. And then the next day, Hasan got a MasterChef claim from a January 5th broadcast. Got a claim on his channel, didn't get a live takedown, so he wasn't banned. And now that's
is that the stipulation?
Yeah, I think that's what the situation is. If you're live, so if they do the claim while you're live, you get banned. If they do the claim on content that is old, you just get the claim and you don't get banned. I don't understand why that is the situation.
Is one worse than the other?
No, I think you both get, well, I mean, I guess the one with the ban
each
is worse,
one ends up with a strike, right?
Yeah.
On your account?
Yeah. I guess the ban is worse. You get a 48-hour ban.
Well, that's just weird. It's strange how there's different punishments for the exact same infraction.
Yeah. I guess one's the result of it being a live takedown rather than a not live takedown. But I guess in some ways also too, the ban's better for the streamer, depending on, how big they are and how big the return stream is. Though I do feel that is starting to, man. I think that's kind of starting to die down. It's not as big as a deal as it used to be with like the return streams. But I will say the publicity that you get from all the articles written about you for being the first one banned and all that stuff, like that definitely is beneficial.
And drumming up your return stream, basically making it an event, making it like I went on vacation, come welcome me back when I'm back. It's.
It would, I do wonder, I saw a lot of conversations around that, like what would be a logical, harsher punishment for a ban like that, like turning off Prime subs on the channel or not being able to run ads on the channel for X amount of time or a longer ban. Yeah. A month ban or all of that?
A month ban.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, you're gonna mess with the DMCA, you're gonna play with fire. You're off the platform for a month.
Yeah.
Go take a real vacation.
It'd be
Like
interesting.
not a weekend. Go
Maybe
take a
for
real
a
vacation.
maybe for a second time offense. Speaking of someone who's been suspended.
Well, no, I mean that's
Maybe for a
absolutely.
second time offense, a little
Dude,
harsh.
give him 3 days, 30 days, 300 days.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
The rule of threes.
Rule of
I like
three.
that.
There you
I can
go.
sell that. Good job. All right. Let's get into the marketing.
I think they're. I think the.
I will say though, you bring up a good point. There is nothing outside of the 3 strike thing, which I don't know if you've
That's
ever
what I was about to
seen
say.
a top
I don't. It's
streamer
the
get taken
unwritten
down for 3
rule
strikes.
about that.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know if it's true anymore because I think the strikes actually are removed after a certain amount of time.
But just to like the thing that was so crazy about all this stuff that happened is it's like you got a DMCA request, you're banned for 2 days, not a hint of concern, of worry, of remorse. If anything, it seemed like there was almost excitement. Like, oh cool, see you in a couple days. You know, it's like there were like if Twitch isn't looking at that and being like, maybe our punishment scheme
Did we just
isn't the best
reward them?
idea. Yeah, did we just reward them for doing that? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, what's going to stop them from doing it again? It's like Pavlov's dogs, man. You're literally you ring the bell with the DMCA thing, and you're rewarding them with a treat. You're like, okay, don't do that again when you ring the bell. It's like,
Yeah.
like you're
was
literally
okay.
like conditioning them to not be concerned about that.
Yeah.
I have personal experience with this, and it was a noticeable change, and I had no idea this happened, or this was going to happen. But when I got my ding and I got my 3-day suspension, I came back to like 8 or 9,000 more followers. It was fucking weird.
Really?
Like I was at like, and the reason why I noticed is because I was just shy of 200,000 followers on Twitch, right? I was like at 192 or 3 or something. And then I came back and I gone over 200 and I was like, is this from the fuck? It has to be. Like I've never gained that many in that short amount of time, you know?
Yeah.
And that I was like, wow, that is fucking crazy. So I got like, sure, I took 3 days off work, but I got rewarded.
Yeah.
Not by Twitch, but you know, it was very strange.
Also,
For me.
just to take it to like another publicity level, like in a lot of ways, especially over the last 2 years, Twitch has in many ways made themselves the bad guy publicly via like bad PR story after bad PR story after bad PR story. So a lot of times when something like this happens, when Twitch drops the hammer on a streamer, then all of a sudden they become like the scrappy little, you know, like, oh, going against the machine stuff, like, go get them. Like, you know, like everyone starts cheering for them. It doesn't really matter what happened. They're going against the machine. So it's like people start kind of like, you know, like getting behind them, kind of like your 8K thing. Like, it's just like they become a beacon for people to kind of rally around in terms of, and all this other stuff that's been happening kind of just magnifies the effect.
Yep. It's true.
The
Yeah.
underdog. Thank you.
Yeah, the
That's what I was
underdog.
looking
That's
for.
true.
Yeah.
I was curious. So I went. I then realized you can't follow a channel as they are in their band because you can't actively go to the channel. So twitch.tv/Pokimane just sends you to like a blank page essentially. In the past 2 days, she's just bot accounts being banned or whatever is down like 200 followers and 150 followers, where the days where she streams, she gets like 6,000 or 7,000 followers. But it'll be interesting to see tomorrow what that number looks like for whatever the return stream is. But it'll probably be beneficial to her stream. I can already tell you that much. It's not gonna hurt her whatsoever. But yeah,
Quick final thoughts for me.
Yeah,
I
let's
saw
do
somebody say
final
something
thoughts.
I saw somebody say this in my chat, and I just kind of wanted to address this. Somebody says, "Why do they hate Pokey? Specifically, why does Pokey?" We don't. We don't at all. We don't hate or dislike any of these people.
Not
The
at
issue
all.
more is that it's the system. It's the product of the system. It's the way that it's working. It's like how it's all structured. Like it, you know, obviously they're doing things that are not very smart, as we have seen from the outcomes. But at the same time, think back. Why are they doing that stuff? Because it went unpunished for so long. Like there's lots of reasons behind their justification for why they do what they do. So all of our commentary is much more about the system, how it got to this point, like why people think it's the right thing to do. So no, I mean, I think I speak for all of us when I say, really, we wish the best to all of our fellow streamers,
Yeah.
because the better they do, the better we do. Let's be blunt. Let's be selfish about it. The better everyone else does, the better we all do. That's very much a rising tide lifts all boats here on Twitch. So
Absolutely.
no, it's no ill will towards them specifically. It's just it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of see it like someone who has like we've seen it in the rap world, like someone who has a reputation for being, bad, extra legal, whatever, and they go to jail. It's like that just sells more music for them. It's very similar thing. It's like it's not a punishment. It's meta, like that's what people are talking about. Like the meta of it actually helps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like maybe not do it like, because I remember when they talked to me, they're like, all right, if you get 3 of these, right, 3 DMCA takedowns, like
you're done.
Isn't it like 3 strikes you're out?
Something like that. It's
That's
an
what I
unwritten
heard.
rule. Yeah. I think it's gotten, I think they remove strikes over time now, but Twitch doesn't comment on that stuff, and there's never anything public that I've seen. So.
Right. But like taking a couple of strikes to raise the numbers up, like, I don't know, man. If I was a shiesty businessman, I'd be like, smart choice.
I mean, it is a smart
that's
business
the money
move.
choice.
Yeah, it's a smart, just like streaming the content that they were is the smart business choice. Go look at the viewership on all those streams. It skyrockets when they stream that content.
Yeah.
They're not just doing it for funsies, guys. They're doing it because they're rolling ads on top of that. This is me speaking to chat more so than you two, because you guys obviously know that.
And buying $1 million houses. Be real.
Yeah. But yeah,
when us working class streamers out here, we have to sweat every day.
Whoa. Hot topic.
You get to sit back and watch a guy cook food. Well, I gotta move my mouse around and click on stuff, organizing my inventory, sneaking around in vents, stabbing people in the back, trying to get experience points while you're just sitting there watching your damn chef cut. You're fired. This is bullshit.
It's true.
No, but I've brought up that subject before, as far as working class is probably not the right term, but you've heard the term working actor, and a working actor means they have to work every day. Like they can't take time off. They have to make a paycheck, and whether that means like extra work, side stuff, doing like little shows here and there, like that's a working actor. That's what that term means. Like there are working streamers, meaning if I don't stream today, I might not make enough for rent.
Right.
Yeah. The streamers that, and more power to them, like are putting up donation goals on their stream that are there the entire time, and the goal is to pay bills. And these are streamers that have been doing this for like literally years and years and years and years. It's their passion. It's what they try to do. Like one big thing is, and the working class thing came up obviously because of some stuff on Twitter. But I think there was a real distinction between people thinking that people were trying to equate streaming to actual real life working class jobs, which obviously was not the thing. They were saying working class in context of the hierarchy of Twitch. Like it was an example of a label for a particular class of streamer, not trying to say that you're going out and working a 50-hour IT job is the same as somebody streaming on Twitch. That's obscene, as I think we can all agree on. So yeah, there was a big disconnect on that.
Yeah. Different conversation for sure.
Somebody said in chat, you are not working class in any context. That is correct.
Yeah.
Streaming as a general is not working class in any context. Yes, it is a dream job in pretty much every single.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, go watch some of the old episodes. We discussed that at length.
Yes.
Yeah.
Granted, can't tell you the episode, and it was probably about 8 years ago or
I
something
think it
like
was
that.
184 or 219.
Okay, there you go. Go check those out. Cohh's
hours,
on
1 hour and 17 minutes.
There you go. He's got that photographic memory. He can tell.
Oh, and speaking of this, you brought this up a little bit ago about reading books on stream and stuff. I'm actually you reminded me I have to answer an email because I'm in talks with a publishing company to read a book on stream. I've tried in the past. I tried to get the rights to read Hitchhiker's Guide, but that's Warner Brothers, and they're like, "Fuck you," because they own the rights. I tried to get the rights to read the Tao of Pooh, which is one of my favorite philosophy.
Who owns the rights to that?
It's
That's Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear.
It's actually funny. I had to go through
I don't think you can call
several
them that anymore,
emails.
Cohh. You're banned in China now.
I actually had to go through several emails to see who could give me permission to read it, and I ended up like sending an email to the last person, and it dead ended. Like I didn't get a response. So I was like, fuck.
Sure.
But I actually got a response for this book, which I fucking love, and it's hilarious. It's Real Ultimate Power, the official ninja book.
So
And
you
it
contacted
is-
the organization of ninjas, as you do.
I did.
Yeah.
I contacted the
Boon, as they're called.
Citadel Press, and
Yes.
they actually got back to me, and I'm in talks with them, and they said like, will this be live streamed once or recorded, available for rewatching? What games will you be playing? I'm like, oh, so you know like what Twitch is? Oh, good. Okay, so we don't have to do that whole. So I'm in the process of sending an email back and trying to get like the rights to read this. So I know that
just
there's
imagine-
rights, but I thought like maybe if I just read a couple of recipes from the taco book, no one's gonna care.
I could just imagine like that company like, okay, we're gonna go and do some research on your channel, see what kind of stream you are, and Zeke's like, oh no.
Yeah,
no,
please
no.
don't, please don't, please don't.
You know, if they publish this book, they're probably cool with it.
Okay. All right.
The book is very juvenile, but very fucking fun.
You know, I saw this a little bit on Twitter. I thought it was a funny thing to think about. I'm sure you guys have had this happen because I've heard a lot of streamers tell the story. But whenever you travel, you sit next to someone on the airplane, and the conversation like, "Oh, what do you do for a living? What are you traveling for?" It's like, "Oh, I play video games for a living." The new norm is, "Yeah, I watch Master Chef for a living." Well, what do you mean? Yeah, oh, I react to it. Well, what is that? What do you mean by that?
What
You
I
know,
mean is I
don't
watch
know.
Master Chef, and then people watch me watch Master Chef while giving me money for watching Master Chef.
It's an
Well,
even weirder conversation than like I play video games for a living.
Well, okay, but it's been around. This type of situation has been around for a very long time. If you break it down, like it's kind of how I broke it down to my dad. Like, what do you do for a living? I play video games and people watch. Why would anybody watch that? Dad, people watch golf. People watch other people play golf. And he goes,
Sure.
okay, he
It
can make the
doesn't make it
connection
any
there.
weirder or any less weird.
Well, yeah, and it comes out. It's the same. I mean, if you think about it, video games is almost even weirder because I mean, considering like video
True.
games, you're supposed to play yourself, so you're literally watching someone else do the work that you would do to watch the video game be played. So I mean, it's you know, it's funny because people rag on React content, but all I tell people is like anyone that gets down on React content, dude, it's like watching TV with a friend.
It is.
That's all
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of like you're just staring at a screen. Why would you want to do that with other people? Oh well, I actually like watching TV with friends around.
Have you ever come over to a coworker's
enjoyable.
desk and been like, "Hey, pull up this video on YouTube.
Yeah.
You got to see it." And you're standing there and you're not watching the video. You're watching the person like pull up that video you just saw.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there looking at the time bar because you know the good part's coming up, and you're like going back and forth between them, like waiting for their reaction to it. Absolutely, 100%,
It's true.
100%.
This is Boomers on React content.
Yes,
We'll be here next week.
we call it boom acting.
Boom
and that's
acting.
trademark.
There you go.
The record.
Tough acting, boom acting. I think that's
Right.
what they used to say back in the day.
So,
And
real
I'm
quick,
pretty sure that's copyright, JP. So be careful.
Well, he's dead, so
I don't think he's the one that copied. You know what? Never mind. Never mind.
so I know
Oh, too
JP
soon,
has
man,
never worked.
too
It is too. Look, I love me some John Madden. Yeah.
Now I know JP has never worked a real job in his entire life, but
What the
Cohh.
fuck? Let's just
It's true.
discredit.
Just hold up your hands. They're like a baby's butt.
No, I'm only saying that because we've
Zeke
been over
gets
like.
one a year. He gets
Have
one
you
a
ever
year.
done, like-
There we go.
Have you ever done like a labor job, JP? Because I remember we
Yeah.
talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, not a job, but I've worked at like Goodwill before for like charity because I had to have charity hours for high school and college to graduate. That was part of like the graduation process. You had to
Okay.
have, I don't know, like 500 or 600 hours working in a Goodwill, that type of shit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I've worked a normal job, but yeah,
Right.
streaming is kind of what I've done most of my life.
Sure. And I honestly, I talk shit, but I wasn't shaming. You know, whatever, dude. Like I
No, I
was lucky to
the
get this
reason
job, and I'm
that
happy with it.
The reason I get upset is not because of you, but because then it gets regurgitated and shat, and I have to. That's a whole new
Sure.
process that
It's
I
a
have to
whole
deal with.
meme.
You know
Yeah,
what?
it's a
You're
meme.
right, and I apologize for that. For perpetuating that shit. I talk to you like we're friends, and then chat thinks they can do the same thing. And
Yeah.
sorry.
True.
Um,
That's how the whole
Cohh,
JP
what is
hates
the what is
games
the
thing, when
most
he actually loves games and made it his job.
That's true.
So, it's kind of like
That's true.
what's the hardest job you've ever hardest physical job you've ever had to do, Cohh?
I was a
Just out of curiosity.
groundskeeper. I was a groundskeeper at a pool. So
Okay.
I basically was like cleaning the toilets, undoing the sewage lines when they get clogged, basically all sorts of
doo-doo, nice.
groundskeeping. The
Ew.
people would leave for the day, and I would be the one going in and cleaning out the entire, like, all the things in the snack area, all the snack bar, like doing out the oil things and cleaning. Oh man, that was a fun couple years. Yeah. I've done tons of stuff, like delivered pizza, worked in a car place for a while, IT, tons of IT jobs.
I'm just curious. I was
Gas
wondering,
station,
if you
worked
guys
at a
had
gas station for a long time.
if you knew the actual lived a blue collar life or whatever, or at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. My dad owned a construction company, so I worked with him quite a lot, like doing roofing and cleaning up. I was the grunt, so I did the unskilled labor. I cleaned up everything. I put everything in a dumpster. I swept all that shit. I was an upholsterer's apprentice for a little bit. Like I was Chuck E. Cheese. I've done all kinds of shit.
4 years, 2 different times combined, I delivered pizza, and I've delivered ice cream. That was a thing. Yeah, it didn't work out too well. Lots of unhappy customers.
Yeah, that must have been.
Yeah, funny enough, it was for this this store called TCBY in Subs, etc.
Oh, yeah,
It was one of those combo stores. And funny enough, they weren't supposed to. It's just the store owner was feeling adventurous
They made money
and
on the
thought that
side.
he would start delivering to the local college. So he printed up his own flyers, and I literally would deliver them in those silver lined ice things. I think I could count the number of times on one hand in the year that I worked there that the ice cream actually made it to where it needed to go.
That's a hard process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technology wasn't ready yet. Dry ice wasn't a thing, I guess. Anyways, you guys want to talk some gaming news? We'll get away
Thank
from the
God.
DMCA stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's start with NFTs.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Come on.
Good. Nice break.
At least this one's a good story. SEGA was out there promising to avoid NFTs if gamers think it's a money-making scheme. So one company, I guess, got some backlash, and they decided we're not going to do it. It was SEGA CEO Haruki Satomi said, in terms of NFT, we would like to try out various experiments, and we have already started many different studies and considerations, but nothing is decided at this point regarding P2E. What does that mean? Oh, play to earn.
Pay to earn.
There have been many announcements about this already, including it overseas, but there are users who show negative reactions at this point. We need to carefully assess many things, such as how we can mitigate the negative elements, how we can introduce this within the Japanese regulation, what will be accepted and what will not be by the users. Then we will consider this further if this leads to our mission, constantly creating, forever captivating, which I guess is the SEGA creed or motto. But it is perceived as simple. But if it is perceived as simple money making, I would like to make a decision not to proceed. So
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's basically a long form version of what the Stalker 2 devs did, where it's like they were going to try NFTs.
Right.
And then it's like it got to the point where the community was just like, don't you dare. And
Yes.
they were like, okay. That was essentially what happened. And that's the thing. Like when companies decide to, it's one thing to create a game from the ground up using NFTs for itself. It's another thing to take an established franchise and try to shoehorn in this incredibly unpopular new technology and then expect things to be okay. It's really, there's a lot of different ways to go about this. Some people want NFTs in games. And is it our job to tell them they're wrong? No, not really. It's just opinions, whatever. And if those people want to take these NFTs and make their own games and do their own thing with them and exist in them, more power to them. I think that's fine. Who is anyone to tell them not to? But at the same time, if you try to take that and just shoehorn and jam it into things that are already there, that's a recipe for people getting frustrated and angry.
Yeah.
It could have sunk the entire Stalker 2 project. We would have seen Deus Ex all over again, where just the backlash was so bad they just sink the IP. So yeah, there's lots of different ways to go about this.
Yeah.
Hopefully
one of the
companies
ways
can do it properly.
Cohh is like Konami. who's always leading the ways in stupid fucking decisions in the gaming
Cutting edge
industry.
money making opportunities.
Konami has the 35th anniversary Castlevania NFT auction coming down the line here on January 12th. If you would like to go check out some hot Castlevania NFTs, well, you can, and you can even buy them in auction. It's really great. This is an actual page, by the way, that exists. The Konami Memorial NFT.
It's
The only
honestly
part that's
like
stuck- go ahead.
it's honestly like that brother that like has a problem with alcohol or drugs and is like, man, I've been clean for like a month, and I was like, dude, good for you, way to go. And then you see him again a month later, it's like, oh man, I'm in a bad way. Like, God damn you! You were doing so well. What happened? What happened?
Yeah.
Square Enix and Konami are great examples of something we've talked to at length on this show over the 299 episodes. And that is when a company gets so large that it kind of loses that spark of passion for being actual game companies and instead become companies that make money. Because what we're going to see as these NFTs get bigger is this is going to split a lot of these companies. We're going to see the companies that are just there to make that easy money. And we're going to see the people that are there to try to keep their fans happy. Because like Square Enix, Konami, think of this from their perspective. They barely need to invest a penny. They can just put up stuff that they already have, and they can reap in huge amounts of profit potential. Like this is literally to these companies free money.
Yeah.
It's free money. It's there. They don't have to do anything. It's all stuff they've already made. Like, and if somebody else doesn't own it, they do, and they're not doing anything with it. So it's like it as we see more and more companies, like I hope you guys are strapped in because this is just the beginning.
Oh, it's going to be the
Like,
year of NFT. Trust me.
I guarantee you, Bethesda is already coming up with their system.
Probably.
I promise you. Well, I would say that before Microsoft owned them. It's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to see when companies
right.
like Microsoft and Sony comment on this.
Phil's been
Like,
pretty
I wonder-
anti-NFT.
Yeah,
the
he
past
has.
couple of months, but
But I can tell you this right now, I would almost guarantee you if Bethesda had not been bought by Microsoft that we would already be hearing or shortly be hearing about a Bethesda NFT push.
yeah,
Because I mean that is like a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like if NFTs make it into mainstream. Like if there's a little NFT section on our PlayStation homepage and Xbox homepage one day and stuff like that, it's going to be. I wouldn't be surprised, and I would say gear up. If you're anti NFT, I'd say be ready. Like prepare yourself because this stuff is coming.
yeah. Coupling this with the news that E3 announced that it will once again be online only again, you'll probably hear NFT mentioned at some point during E3, if not once, probably a handful of times. The funniest part, though, about that E3 being online only again announcement is right after that, Jeff Keighley hit Twitter and said, yeah, the Summer Game Fest is going to be back. And I think that got a little bit more traction than E3 coming back as an online only event. So good on Jeff for getting out there and beating the news. What else do we have? Here's some Days Gone news. Cohh, did you see this from Jeff Ross, the director? Yeah. So this is linked to Ghost of Tsushima being announced that it has sold over 8 million copies earlier this week. Jeff Ross, the Days Gone director, who no longer works, I think, at Sony anymore or at that company anymore. What's the company? Ben Studio?
Ben Studios.
Yeah. No longer works there. Came out and said, at the time I left Sony, Days Gone had been out for a year and a half and sold over 8 million copies. It's since gone on to sell more and then 1 million plus on Steam. Local studio management always made us feel like it was a big disappointment. That was on January 5th. Then about 2 days later, after a bunch of hubbub and kind of a focus of the industry on that Twitter string, later comes out and says that Days Gone sales numbers were likely lower than 8 million after the director reveals the source was a site that tracks trophies. So good job there, bud. It really.
Well, and on top of that, it was really,
Really-
kind of weird that was said because first of all, Days Gone was not super critically well received.
It wasn't.
There were many people. Also, I believe the first week sale numbers were dramatically different between the two. Like one was
sure.
in the millions and one was like 500,000, I think. So I mean, it was a really weird tweet to make.
Yes.
Because they have to remember Days Gone was supposed to be the big zombie open world game with Sam Witwer as the lead. Like it was supposed to not only do well, it was supposed to do really, really well. And then when the game came out and it wasn't critically acclaimed and it didn't sell as well as they wanted, I mean, obviously people, like we talk about the companies that are in it for the money, obviously they're not going to be super happy about that. I mean, like, there's reasons there. We didn't see a Days Gone 2. It got canned.
Right.
I think we're going to see more Ghost of Tsushima.
Probably.
So it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of thing. That was a very weird take.
It was a very weird one for sure. The big event that took place this past week down in Las Vegas was CES. Granted, no, I don't think like any press were there. And if so, there were very little press. But we did get a bunch of news regarding hardware and all that stuff, TVs and monitors, as well as the PlayStation VR 2 announcement, as well as the PlayStation VR 2 Sense controller announcement. I'll bring up a shot of that. Yeah, and a Horizon announcement. What was the name of that game? Horizon
Forbidden West.
I don't remember.
No, that's
no. This is the PS5. They're making a Horizon VR game for the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is huge.
I forgot what the name.
Cool.
Call of the Mountain. That's what it was. Yeah.
I'm hopeful that this is like the next Alex. Like this is a real good company, like with a big media presence. Like I really hope they knock this out of the park.
Yeah,
it could be like the next
all of
Resident
that,
Evil.
like climbing and scenery and all of that. Wow.
Think of the fights. Think about like sliding under one of those machines and like looking up as you do it, and like grabbing onto it and riding it. Yeah, dude. I mean, Horizon is a very interesting world to have a kind of thing like this in it. Now, hopefully it's not going to be the kind of thing where it's like, well, you don't play Aloy in this one. You play a water carrier guy. Your job's to bring the water to Aloy while she fights monsters. Like, let's hope it's not something like that.
Yeah.
You're the water boy like, of the tribe. You come out like, are you thirsty, Aloy? Here you go. And then you just sit on the sideline and you wait for her to get thirsty again.
You just watch her run around and fight.
30 minutes. You spend 30 minutes collecting twine and cattails so you can craft your 2 pom-poms. So you can stand on the side too. Go, Aloy, go!
Yeah. Hopefully it's not a glorified tech demo. They put out a little bit of information for it. I'll get to that in just a sec. This is a photo of the controllers. They will feature adaptive triggers, haptic feedback, finger touch detection, tracking, and then of course the buttons, the action buttons and analog sticks, as they say on the PlayStation blog. Kind of looks a little bit like the Index controller somewhat to me. It also looks like the Sony Ericsson phone logo, funny enough, in terms of the shape around it. That's the thing I first saw in this. But yeah, they're getting into the PSVR 2 stuff. We will most likely see some more on that at E3 this year.
Headset sounds like a great upgrade.
Yes,
lots of good stuff on the headset. That is super good. One of my biggest issues with PSVR is it was so noticeably different from the other headsets that I used. So if they can actually make this thing like cost effective, or better yet, have comparable bundles when the PS5 finally comes around to where like, maybe for like 50+% off, you can get a PS5 and one of our new VR headsets. Like this could really be something awesome because now we're going to have a really nice headset. We're going to hopefully eventually have PS5s that can actually support running really nice things in that nice headset. And maybe this is finally that little nudge VR needs to get a little bit more mainstream.
Yeah.
Copium.
The specs are very high. Panel resolution per eye is 2000 by 2040, up to 120 hertz refresh rate on that. Field of view is 110 degrees, which is pretty high. There will also be vibration on the headset, which is a weird.
How I feel about that.
Yeah, a weird.
Now what it's going to do is it's going to shake all that sweat out of the headband right into my eyes. I'm not really looking forward to that.
I hope you can turn that off.
But I don't think it's going to be like. It's not going to be like head rattling. It's going to be like haptic feedback on your controller, I'd imagine.
I bet it's going to be like a rumble pack. You remember the N64 where it was just like probably just little spinny things on each side, give you a little bit of. Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
I remember. Didn't you dig that up or like find that in a Zelda game or something like with that they were trying to promote it?
I don't know what was the first game.
N64 Rumble Pack, and you would like you dig it up and you'd find it like it came out and it looked just like that.
Yeah.
I remember Star Fox was huge.
Star Fox is what it shipped with, or was first ped with. I don't know if it shipped with that. That thing was fucking huge as well.
It was. That thing rumbled, man.
Yeah.
It was heavy.
It was a lot for sure. They also announced that there will be 4 cameras on the headset, and with the controller tracking for the IR camera for the eye tracking per eye. So it's going to be watching where you're looking in the screen and stuff like that. So
That'll be interesting. I wonder
yeah,
if it's gonna like subtly adjust your vision based on where you're looking, which would
maybe.
be kind of cool.
Yeah, the
Like that
tech
would be
sounds great.
interesting. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff.
Really makes
It was
me
called the
wonder.
Stone of Agony, by the way,
Oh,
in the Zelda.
there you go.
Legend of Zelda.
It makes me wonder what
nice.
this thing will cost, because those are some pretty beefy tech. And so I
I'd love
wonder.
to do a side by side with the Index.
Yeah, one of my viewers actually had that very very article. Hold on.
Good job, JP's viewers.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There's going to be a giant ad next to it. Thanks Google.
Blessed Priod says, so the eye tracking, would that be per eye? What if you're cross-eyed? That's an interesting question.
Look, VR is fucking
Wear an eye
weird.
patch.
Then you'd probably just turn it off. Wear an eye. Well, yeah. I don't know.
But yeah,
look at this. This is the whole thing. Can you link this in the thing for me?
Yeah. The tech is very very comparable to the Index for sure. Which again makes me wonder how much this thing is going to fucking cost. They definitely went with like the more affordable VR situation with the PSVR, and they could offer it as like this is the more expensive version and still sell the regular PSVR potentially. I don't know if they want to like cross develop though. That definitely puts in a lot of more development time. But
Over twice as much pixels per eye. That is wild.
yeah.
That is wild.
It's definitely a bump up. I could see that thing going for like $900. Also, I really want to get an HP laptop right now. You could save like $170 instantly, by the way, if you weren't
Instantly?
Yeah, instantly. Go shop now. HP. Also go check out Euphoria. Not on stream though. You can't watch that one, guys. That's also DMCA.
Oh, it
But it
premieres today,
says
right?
new season now streaming. I'm confused. Can you please enlighten me as to this situation?
Yeah. No. I can't. So we'll see. More on that most likely at E3. I wouldn't expect a price announce or anything, but maybe. I don't know.
Quick question. Am I dreaming, or did they announce that there's also going to be an Index 2?
Let's see.
Is that a thing?
There are rumors as of September.
Okay, so nothing official.
No. There's no official announcement. This also just occurred to me that this will then, if I buy the new PSVR, the PSVR 2, that will then be the fourth VR headset that will most likely collect dust 9 months out of the year in my office. So, yeah, VR, man. What a weird thing.
What a weird thing.
Let me see if there's any other bit of news. The funniest news, not necessarily big news. Did you guys see this story about the Pope dancing to Megalovania while a circus performed in front of him? Because that might be one of the funniest videos I
That's
have
that scene
ever
from
seen.
Idiocracy, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They were reenacting a scene from Idiocracy. Yeah. It's real weird to just watch Megalovania play as the Pope watches on with like circus clowns juggling balls in front of him and people staring at the Pope watching him react. Very weird situation. I think Kotaku had that story if you want to go find the video for it. It's a weird one. I don't know if there's a couple rumors. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order sequel will be announced this year. Is one of the rumors going around. People are saying it will be announced prior to E3. I think it was Jeff Grubb who said it, quote, in a big way. So maybe there will be some sort of special press event announcing that. There's also a rumor yesterday about Armored Core 6 reportedly being developed.
Pretty cool.
Which is from software. So that would be really cool for sure.
That'd be insanely cool.
Yeah. We'll have to see there.
Core. A current day Armored Core with all the graphic enhancements that have happened since the last one would be pretty badass.
It would. Also, what if they put that in VR?
Armored Core is a little fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong, but
it would be a tough one.
That'd be real fast.
Yeah,
Cool, though.
it would be a tough one.
Just watching this video, like, Oh, all of God's creatures are very weird.
Dude, he's like bobbing his head and shit to it.
God makes all kinds in this world.
It's real weird. It's real weird. Cohh, I'll go to you on this because I haven't followed it. I know you have because I saw a couple tweets from you about it. Dying Light went out there and said to fully complete Dying Light 2, Stay Human, you'll need at least 500 hours.
Yes, I
What?
think that is marketing bullshit. Don't get me wrong. I love Techland and I love Dying Light 2. I'm actually super pumped for it. For those that don't know, I recently replayed Dying Light 1 and the expansion. When I was done with that, we sat down and watched every one of back to back to back, the Dying to Know hype streams and everything. And we watched like there's 2 15-minute gameplay trailers. I'm actually feeling great about Dying Light.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling great about it. I think it looks good. Here's the takeaway. There's been 3 numbers thrown around. 2 of them I believe, and the 500 one I don't. So the 500 one, I think what they're assuming is that they're assuming you want to get do everything there is to do in the game. Now we already know there's 3 major factions. Each one of those will require their own playthroughs if you want to max them out. That's 3 of those. They also have said that the main story is between 20 and 30 hours. Totally believable. That was actually told to Alana Pierce over at Santa Monica Studio. She's awesome.
Mhm.
So that's probably right. They have said that to her the main story is 20 to 30 hours. That a full playthrough, like a single playthrough with all side content, is probably between 80 and 100. And then the 500 thing came out actually before those 2 were public. So the idea is that they're probably saying if you were to do, maybe you would need 4 full playthroughs at like 80 to 100 hours to do the 3 factions and do all the side quests. And then maybe there's like a way to do no faction. Like maybe there's like a 4th type of playthrough. And then all the last 100 hours, I guess they're counting as like cleanup, like going to every place and doing every challenge and getting every collectible and stuff like that. Do I actually think it's going to take 500 hours to do everything? I do not. I would be baffled.
Yeah,
I'm guessing
that's
it's
a
more
lot.
along the lines of you do 1 super full playthrough and then you do a few more speedy playthroughs like you do for Mass Effect, like where you like do 1 huge playthrough and then you do a few playthroughs as like maybe 1 is Renegade and 1 with these companions and stuff like that. So it seems really markety, and I would be stunned, stunned if it actually took 500 hours to do it. The only other thing that they might be considering is I have heard that the ending has a lot of differences that can happen based on your story decisions. So maybe you have to beat the game like
Multiple playthroughs.
10
Yeah.
to 15 times to see all of those. Like maybe that's where they're getting the 500. In which case, not each faction would have its own ending, but like the faction plus other decisions you make may have like a major influence.
Sure.
And they're saying to like see each one of those tapestries, you'd have to do it for 500 hours. But I can tell you that every completionist I know was like, oh shit. Like really?
That's a lot.
500 hours?
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I will say that I am thrilled to hear that the main story is 20 to 30 hours. That means there's a lot of meat in there. And then if they're actually saying that like double that time for all the side content and side quests, like sign me up, dude. That's awesome.
So, like, for my viewers in Zeke time, if I wanted to do that,
800.
That would be
8
3,150
to 1,200 hours.
Yeah. That's your game for the next 6 months if you're doing
6
like
months, I would say.
8 hours,
That's
9-hour day streams. Yeah. Good luck.
I've
Have
always
fun.
wondered what it would be like to be a single game streamer.
Yeah.
I'll
It's
play
Maybe I'll
Dying
test
Light
the
2 and you'll
waters.
know for half a year.
yeah. You could always try. You could always try. We had a story a couple weeks back. I don't exactly remember how long ago it was, out of China, where they were basically saying, you guys got to change a bunch of shit to match the CCP regulations that we are now putting in place. Genshin Impact has done that with the 2.4 update. They changed 4 characters to have, quote, more modest and less revealing costumes. The new
Thank
outfits,
God.
the new outfits will also be available as extra costumes in the West. They have also made changes to character animations with more to come in future updates. This one was especially funny. The fact that it just says this. Angling the camera underneath some characters while they're flying now turns those characters transparent. To compensate, MiHoYo is dishing out 1,200 primo gems to Chinese players, which will be given out later today. This was about 4 days ago. So China's out there starting their censoring of all their stuff. And Genshin Impact was one of the ones that at least I've seen hit. I don't know if there's been other games, but we'll see how that starts to impact games out here in the West moving forward. I think that's kind of it for all the big news. Skull and Bones can't catch a break. The co-director Antoine Henry left Ubisoft after 15 years. That was earlier or middle of this week, about 4 days ago. So more stuff out of Skull and Bones that isn't great. It's not.
That game's never going to come out, man.
Not doing well.
Has that ever like that? Has anyone played that? Like, has that come out in a beta or a playtest or anything like that?
I don't think so. I don't know if it was playable when they showed it at E3 all those years ago. I think it was just a video. And then didn't they state that they were just like straight up redoing that whole game like a year ago or 6 months ago? Wasn't that one of the stories that around that game? There's been so much around it, just like not positive announcements that I forget what has been said and what has not been said.
I don't even know anymore, man.
Yeah. I think that's kind of it. Like we said, or like I said, CES was this past week. There was NVIDIA had a conference. They announced more graphics cards that you won't be able to buy. AMD did as well. A bunch of mobile CPU stuff out of that.
A lot of car stuff.
Yeah, a lot of smart car crap. I say crap, but it's interesting. But there was a lot of smart car stuff out of CES. And yeah, a bunch of monitors. I think there's like a 4K 144 hertz monitor coming out that has some really enticing specs if you're interested in that type of stuff. And then the new OLED tip top line will be called a QD OLED out of Samsung is what they're out there pushing. So in terms of game releases this week, we've got Monster Hunter Rise finally releasing on the PC. That'll be on the 12th. The Anacrusis comes out on the 13th. If I recall, that's kind of a Left 4 Dead style game. That'll be in early access. God of War making its way to PC as well on the 14th. And then a game called Nobody Saves the World on the 18th. I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff that didn't include there. Yeah. Nobody Saves the World is indie for sure. You like take over.
Yeah.
Take over other creatures in the world and you're able to solve puzzles and stuff like that. So either of you going to check out God of War on PC? Is that in your plans?
I am.
I think I just want to see it. I think that's what I'm most interested in.
That's what I've been telling people. I've been getting that question a lot lately. And yes, I'm absolutely going to play God of War on the PC. I have no idea if I'm going to finish God of War on the PC.
Yeah.
I'm probably just going to play it as long as it's good. If it's a really good port, please, after Final Fantasy, then, that would be really nice. And maybe it's something that we'll do. But if it's the kind of thing where, it's just same again, I've already played it, so we're good.
Yeah. As someone who played the PS5 update of when God of War got that, don't play on the new hardest difficulty. Don't do it. You'll
just done.
You won't have a good time.
It's just way too spongy enemies.
You got to play New Game Plus, and even that, it's like way too. Like, remember when you played on the hardest difficulty the first time? It's even harder than that. So for first playthrough, it's like not even.
So wait, there were the difficulties when it came out, and then they added the difficulty, and this is a difficulty on top of that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't do it.
It severely took away the fun when I started playing it on the hardest difficulty on PS4. And once I jumped down a notch,
it's fine.
It was really good. Really, obviously, I loved it.
Yeah.
But that first the fact that they're making a more difficulty, like that is, I'll let you youngins, you go ahead and have a crack at her. That's a wild stallion right there, and my old cowboy bones can't take it no more.
Yeah. I played it on New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty. I got to the final, I talked about it on the show. Got to the final boss. I hit the final boss. His bar did not move. I hit the final boss a second time. A fucking pixel on his HP bar went down. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm not good. I'm sorry, guys. We'll watch the ending on YouTube if you guys want to see it. I'm not doing this shit. Because it expects you to go and grind out everything in that game and come back with like the best possible gear in order to actually start to fight it. It wasn't even the final Valkyrie as well. I didn't even like see what that would have looked like on that difficulty. That's probably a nightmare challenge of epic proportions. But yeah, I'm glad that PC folk that have not played God of War are going to be able to jump in. If it's a good port. I really hope it's a good port.
It deserves a good port. It deserves a good port. It would be super unfortunate, like not right before, but before the new one comes out, if there was like a big, flush of bad PR because of a poor port.
Yeah.
That'd be super unfortunate.
Yeah. And then Cohh, I ask you, Monster Hunter Rise, are you not into it? Okay. All right. Makes sense.
There's too much other stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, in the stead zone.
For you, JP?
I don't know yet. I might just become. You mentioned a one game streamer. Might just keep playing that League of Legends. It's giving me amazing.
Dude, I keep
if you're liking
it like to go through my follow list and see JP playing League of Legends to like 20 people. Honestly, I did not know. I didn't expect it.
I was like, wait, that's what my viewership was yesterday? I don't look at that number anymore.
No, I didn't expect it to be like, you're pulling in decent numbers.
Oh, okay.
I thought that would be a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
I did not expect it to do as well as it is.
To be 100% honest with you, haven't looked at viewership numbers in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks at this point. I'm much more conscious about it. I look at it on like a monthly level. So I have no idea how the viewership is, but it gives me things like this. That's me freaking out when I get ganked in League of Legends. I don't know if you guys, could you actually hear that? Could you hear that?
I did.
Yeah.
The new Wilhelm scream. Here it is.
It's really good. That's me freaking out.
See, I'm gonna be real. The idea of playing a game that could constantly elicit that out of me makes my blood pressure scared. Like that, like I don't.
Yes.
Maybe it's just because you're younger than me. I don't know, but like that,
not by much.
I don't.
I'm honestly happy that there's something that I can commiserate with you in not the same game, but in a similar fashion. Like the new patch for Teamfight Tactics came out.
Yeah. And
I was doing pretty well with the new patch. The old patch was very much, there was a lopsided character in it that everyone was going, you had to get this one character because it was just dominating the field.
Yeah.
So like you had to get lucky, and I was like, all right. I put it away for a little bit, and then the new patch came. I was like, oh, good. And I was doing well. And then, I was getting like seconds and thirds. So in Teamfight Tactics, there's 8 players. All you have to do is place 4th or higher to get points. Anything 5th or lower, you lose points if you're doing you're ranked. So I made it to platinum.
Yeah.
And I'm trying
Congrats,
to dig,
by the way.
dig
not a
and
small
claw.
feat.
Oh, thank you. Dig and fucking claw my way out of platinum 4 into platinum 3. And I was like at like 80 something points out of 100 to get to platinum 3. And I forgot that if you have one bad game, like fourth, third give you like 10, 11 points in platinum. And then if you get a win, it's like 20
LP or whatever.
20 something.
Yeah.
I had one bad game. I got a 7th place, 55 off. And I was like, and I shoved my fucking laptop out because I forgot that. I was like, oh, in platinum, like,
jeez,
3, 4, 5 decent games is negated by one bad one. And I'm just like, fuck this. And I tossed my laptop off my bed. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Why do I play this game?
Yep. I say that a lot. There's there's like an addictive, which I'm sure you experience as well. There's like an addictive side of that, right? Like you're always chasing the adrenaline high of a moment. And they drip.
I want to play it again right now.
Yeah. They drip feed you that so well in the game, or it just happens because of the way that the game is structured. That the drip feed keeps coming back. It's also been really wild because aside from watching MasterChef, some of the biggest streamers are also playing League of Legends now that the new season started last Friday. So they bounced from that to MasterChef, back to that. And the viewership for it, like on Twitch as a whole, which is League of Legends is generally a mainstay on the platform, right? Like top 10, top 5, generally. It's been getting pretty astronomical numbers since the new league launched on Friday. And I think Arcane obviously has a lot to do with that as well. People wanted to jump in after seeing the animes for the first time in That's also been a whole nother can of worms to deal with. Because you have people that haven't played in like 6 months coming back and, getting on the same rank and like picking a hero they've never seen. And it just doesn't ruin games, but it definitely makes your, as Cohh said, it makes your blood pressure spike a little bit when you just watch someone like idly walk into a group and die. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what? Why are you in this game? Stop. So,
yeah. You wonder, like, did you let your little brother come in? Fucking play your account for you. Is that what's going on?
Yeah. It's been interesting. Anyways, let's take a break because we're due for one, and then we'll come back and talk video games in terms of what everyone else has been playing. So stick around. We got more drop frames coming up right after this. Thanks for joining us so far. We'll see you in just a bit for more.